Well, hello friends. As a quick supplemental to the Adamu Speaks series of videos, I've been asked to contribute my present perspective on intention setting. So here goes. After carefully listening to Adamu's message in the previous videos in the series, I decided it was time to begin to work some cosmic magic in my own life. I decided to set an intention, and I'll be taking that intention through the remaining sacred steps too. But before setting the intention, I decided to take a step back and find myself in a state of true acceptance. Remember, acceptance is the first of the 6 sacred steps. So, acceptance. This is a word that has gained such profound meaning and significance in my life in the last few years. Where I'm at now is that true acceptance means for me that absolutely everything in my entire reality is exactly as it is meant to be. Nothing is wrong, nothing is broken, nothing must be fixed or changed in order for me to be happy. Every single creator or being is creating their reality from their perspective, and they are all getting what they are creating. This is what is true for me. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean that everyone likes what they are creating. Quite far from that. It's apparently so that there are many who are unaware that they are creating their reality, and there are many who also don't know how to effectively or wisely create their reality. And those beings very often are creating things that they outright hate. They're having experiences of life and they're saying it's all wrong, it's all bad, it's all wicked and vile, which I suppose is what explains most people's experience of life. But hating your creations is not the same thing as not creating your creations. And we must all get what we are creating if we are going to learn to create better. You know, like a small child must learn not to touch hot pots on the stove or pet aggressive dogs or step out in the traffic. In the same way, we junior creator beings must learn to create wisely with full intention and from the center of our being out. We must learn to create the things that we actually want to experience. So everybody must get what they're creating so that they can see that what they're creating doesn't serve them, so that they can learn to do better. That's the only way we will ever move beyond the belief that we're victims. It's the only way that we will ever move beyond the idea that we're not creating our reality, that we're not getting back from life exactly what we have created. So if you follow my reasoning, what I am saying is that the world is exactly as it is meant to be. As cruel, as sad, as frightening, as confusing as it certainly sometimes can seem to be, each and every soul in this entire reality, across the span of their incarnations, is getting what they are creating. Now, you might not think this is true. You might have all kinds of objections to this notion. You might say to me, yeah, but what about abused children? Or what about people getting dread diseases? Or what about abused animals? On and on and on. There are like a gajillion possible objections to my position of total acceptance. But I am not here to convince you of anything. I'm not responsible for your beliefs. You are. But if you are willing to see how I shifted my perspective from exactly those kinds of beliefs that kept me in a state of fearful victimhood, then I invite you to read book 1 of the Ascension Papers if you haven't already. The ebook version is free to download from my website. There is a paperback version if you prefer to hold a real book in your hands, but check out the Ascension Papers. If you're ready to move your perspective, to release your beliefs in your own victimhood, I'm sure you will find this to be completely life-changing. The point I'm making here is that I accept 100%, not just conceptually, but to the very core of my being, as a fundamental truth of my existence. I accept it to be true that every mote of consciousness in this reality, from God through to the monadic entities and the angels, right the way down to the little fragments of consciousness that are experiencing themselves as personalities here on earth right now. Every part of life is creating its reality and getting what it is creating. Yes, it is so that we're currently inhabiting a co-created reality, which means that we are indirectly very often creating our experiences. But if you're not creating the experience, what you have done is you have signed up and agreed to some other part of life creating an experience with you or for you. That's what these dances with others, these relationships we're in, that's what that's all about. Whatever is going on in your belief system is up to you, but I'm telling you, I am sure of this. It's what is true for me. I also know that the vast majority on earth right now don't agree with me. I know why they don't agree with me, because I've also been there. I accept that too. And as I've been at some pains to explain, it's not my job, my belief, that I must change anybody else's beliefs. I'm not here to convince anybody else. I accept that all others are exactly where they need to be for what they're creating and for what they're needing to learn and experience. That's what's true for me. And since this is so for me, I find my way to accepting the otherwise unacceptable. I accept the crooked politicians that are so self-serving that they're just selling the rest of us to corporate interests, to the highest bidder. I accept that that's so. I accept the pollution that, oh gosh, I don't know, everyone is inflicting upon the planet. I accept the crime that racks almost every society upon the planet. I accept the painful contracts that souls have signed with each other that results in murder, rape, and abuse. I accept the contracts that people have signed with their bodies that leads to the litany of woes that lies there. I accept all of that. I'm not saying I like all of that. That's a different story. But I accept that that is as it is meant to be. That everybody is getting what they're creating and hopefully learning to create better. I will not try and change any of that. I am in total acceptance of this reality and my place in it. Now I have acceptance. Now I can choose. Remember, Adamu taught us in the Adamu Speaks edition on acceptance, that if we are not in acceptance, then we are in victim. And if we're in victim, then we cannot choose. We cannot create. Victims can't create. Well, my dear friends, I can tell you it has taken me a whole lifetime, really, to find my way to this level of acceptance. And as I arrive here, I can feel that this changes everything for me. The feeling of total acceptance is the feeling of perfect peace. And what perfect peace really is the ability to have a perfectly still mind. Right now, as a matter of choice, I can simply still my mind. Where before, no matter how hard I tried, there was always the chattering monkey going on in there. There was always fear and anger and pain and doubt and who knows, cocktail of all kinds of stuff raging around inside there. Well, with total acceptance, I reach total peace. With total peace, I reach stillness of mind. These are the same things. And what is perhaps interesting or surprising is that I find when my mind is still, then I can hear my heart. When the mind is busy, just noise. When the mind is still, I can hear my heart. And I discover my heart is a portal, like a telephone that connects me to the inner divine. When I really listen to my heart, then this inner divine moves through my heart and brings me deepest knowings, things that I just know are true. Never figured it out in my head. Perhaps I've never experienced it before. That's why it's true creativity, true inspiration. It's true deep wisdom beyond anything that this ego persona can know. It arrives, it moves through my heart when my mind is still. It might be different for you. You might have visions or hear things. You might be clairaudient. You just get hear things. I don't know. Each person is different. I'm telling you about my experience. I have simple, clear knowing when my mind is still. And if you're in the mood to believe me, I would like to ask you to believe me when I say that this state of acceptance and the peace that comes from it is worth every little bit of effort and work that it took to get here, over and over and over again. And since I am in acceptance, I can begin to choose and create, and I can choose and create from this place of deep knowing. I can know what is right for me to choose and create, which finally allows me to get to the point about intention. You see, before I had this peace and stillness, before I was able to listen to my heart, I would have set intentions from the noise and fear in my chattering mind. I would have set intentions that the world must change. I would have set intentions that people must be better, that crime must get less, that politicians must improve, that pollution must stop, that, who knows, all kinds of ideas would have arisen of all the things outside of me that needed to change before I could be happy, because that's the noise inside my mind. And perhaps if I was feeling less altruistic, perhaps I would have set an intention that I must get more money, I must get richer, because we all need more money. Or perhaps that some ailment in my body must just magically fix, or who knows, some kind of a selfish idea like that. Not judging, it's not a bad thing. That's just what comes from the mind, because the mind resides in the state of not knowing, in the state of disconnection, state of fear. But when I listen to my heart, when I get a peaceful mind and I open myself to the wisdom, well, then the inner divine moves through my heart. And what arrives for me in that moment is the most luminous, clear, truthful, right knowing of what my intent really is. An intent that is right for me, right the way from the oneness within, through all the levels of inner self, right the way here to on Zingdad Allingham. This is what is right for me. And I want to tell you what my intention is, then I want to tell you how I condense that into a powerful, succinct statement of intent. My intention is to find my way to giving my gift as fearlessly as possible to every part of life that wishes it. That's what arises from within, a knowing that that's what's right for me to intend. That if I'm going to bring my creative powers to bear, if I'm going to invite the universe to dance with me, if I'm going to say, if there is magic out there, let it be about this thing, then what it is, it's about me creating that I am giving my gift as fearlessly as possible to every part of life that wants it. And I want to talk about why that intention is right. You see, if I think about it, I'm not motivated by money. I only am motivated by money if I'm scared that I won't have enough. enough of anything. If I have a fear and I think money will resolve that fear, then I want money. And in the same way, all of these other ideas of lack, of all these other ideas of what I need, arise from fear. So I'm not about what's in it for me. I'm only about that if I'm in a state of fear. What I am really, really about, what makes my tail wag, is the idea that what I have to give is making a difference. That I can find something inside of myself and produce it, whether it's a book or a writing or a video or a client session or a seminar that I can make something and put it out into the world, and that it can make the world a happier, better, more joyful place. That's just the most thrilling thought. And if I think that where I have passed, that next to the path that I have walked, there is more joy, more positivity, more light, more life, well, that's about as delightful a positive thought as I can have. That sends me into happy overdrive. So that's what I want to do. So really, I just want to give all my stuff away at the highest rate possible, at the highest frequency possible, at the highest vibration possible to everyone possible. That's really what I want to do. But I am still a mortal little human being with a mortal ego and a body that's prone to all of the things that human bodies are prone to. So my poor little human ego has all the same fears yours does. I fear I won't have enough. I fear I will run out of the things that I need if I have enough today. I fear I will get stuck. I fear I will get lost. I fear I will be poor. I fear I will get ill. I fear I will die. I fear. Right? You know what I'm talking about. We all have these fears. These are the fears that drive us to do jobs that we hate, because a fixed income helps me to fear less, even if I'm doing something that destroys my soul day after day. Fixed income, right? And they what cause us to take our money, this precious money that we've earned from this job that we hate, and invest it in things, these real grudge buys called insurance. I mean, really, who wants to be buying insurance? But we buy insurance because it makes us fear a little less. Retirement annuities, because I'm going to get old and then I'm not going to be able to work and then I'm going to be needing money. So retirement annuities. It's what causes us to vote for social security programs. I mean, who wants to give some of their tax money away to stuff that we don't want, which is unemployment for other people? We do this because we fear, and we think that our fears are pointing us in the right direction. Now, I'm not actually saying that any of these things are wrong. It is so that I don't have any of those things myself. I don't have any kind of a job with any kind of a fixed. I don't have any of that stuff. But I'm not saying it's wrong for somebody else if that's where they're at. What I am saying is that these things are evidence. They show us that everybody has these same kinds of fears, because everybody's buying into these same kinds of mechanisms to deal with their fears, because nobody knows or believes that they're creating their reality and therefore have no need to fear. So everybody's creating these fearful outcomes, getting the fearful outcomes, and going, see, it's just as well I had some insurance, or whatever the case might be. You know, it's even the most super wealthy have these fears. Think about it. Why do billionaires not get to a point where they say, whoa, enough already? I have that much obscene wealth that it's just silly for me to keep working. And the reason is that no amount of money, no amount of possessions, no amount of insurance, no amount of stuff, no amount of status, no amount of minions all over the universe working for you to keep you in your wealth is ever going to make you feel okay. It's never going to take your fears away. These kinds of fears are part and parcel with this kind of life. They're baked into this experience of life. Live this life, have these fears. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't have these fears or that you should just get over them. These fears are a part of this life. What I am saying is that you don't need to be motivated by your fears. You know what the definition of courage is? I'm sure you've heard this. Courage is not about not fearing. That's something else. I don't know. Foolhardy, brave, I don't know. What courage is feeling the fear and doing the right thing anyway. Think about that. A courageous soldier on the battlefield didn't not feel fear. He or she had the bullets whizzing overhead and rushed out and saved comrades, or whatever that courageous action was. Feel the fear, you do the right thing, the thing that you know in your heart to be right, you do that anyway. That's courage, and that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about listening to your heart, knowing what's right for you, allowing that there are fears, but doing what's right for you anyway. And this is what I'm working towards. I'm working towards giving my gift courageously, fearlessly. I'm not saying that because I'm setting this intention that I'm already there. You know, this is what Adamu was saying. Setting the intention is just one of the steps. But it is me putting my pin in the map and saying, I'm going there. So that's my intention. Now, the best part of this is that as I move towards there, I will get ever more of the greatest possible joy. I'll get ever more of what I really like, which is that feeling of giving my gift. That's the best way for me to have the optimally, most delightfully blissful experience of life. And there's another best part. And the second best part is that I know how life works. I've experienced enough of it. I really get it, that it's true. What you put out is what you get back. All of life is like a wondrous hall of mirrors. You put it out, it gives it a bit of a twist, and it bounces it right back to you. So if I find my way to giving my gift in this kind of an abundant, joyful fashion, I know life is going to reflect that back to me in a kind of abundant, joyful fashion. So I don't really need to worry about getting. I don't need to worry about what's in it for me. I just give, and life takes care of it. Is that true? Well, though I am now busy setting this intention, I have sufficiently in my life already done that. I have sufficiently tried to just give and see, to put out what I want to have come back. I've tested this out, and it works for me. I know it. I have no doubt about that. I know that it works like that for me. But if I didn't know that, I would want to find out. I mean, I would want to know if it's true, because if it's true, it's a game changer. If it's true, then I really just have to focus on giving. And of course, not block the receiving, because I used to do that too. I used to be quite fearful about receiving, about others giving me, and is it okay, and am I creating imbalance? I had all kinds of noise and fears about that. But I've sorted that stuff out for myself as well. I am willing to receive. I want to give, and I'm willing to receive. So that's my intent. I have framed it because Adamu said you've got to make it quite succinct and powerful. I'm willing to keep working on it, but for now, here's how it sounds. My intention is as follows. I am giving my gift ever more fearlessly and abundantly to every part of life that wishes it. That's my intent. How's that sound to you? So that's my process. I really wanted to share it with you. I have the hope that in me using my life and my story as an example, that will add some value to your process, that will help you to work on your intent. I really hope you are framing an intention that will truly serve you, not by showing you how you shouldn't frame an intention, but by bringing you ever unfolding joy and love and expansion and abundance. Now, as Adamu has cautioned, I know well that the statement of intention is only one of the steps, but now at least I have taken the step. I have found my way to really soul deep acceptance of life, and I have found my way to finding an intention from the very center of my being, from my heart, listening and finding an intention that's right for me. I have framed the intention succinctly and powerfully, and now I'm ready to begin empowering that intention, which, as I understand from Adamu, is what happens in the next few sacred steps. So next I will be handing proceedings back to Adamu to learn about the third sacred step called action. I look forward to hearing about that. I look forward to applying it to my life, and maybe I'll share with you my journey with that as well. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But that's all in the future. Until then, I wish you peace, love, joy, abundance. I wish for you all the things I wish for myself, because I know you are the other me and I'm the other you. So until then, goodbye.